Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Ninja Mill. What the heck is Ninja Mill? Well, it's a new deck that I just created, and I'm crazy, and it's probably not very good, but I did notice there was this new card in the Ninja Turtle set, Kitsune's Technique. Kitsune means fox in Japanese, and apparently there's a Ninja Turtle that is named Kitsune or some character in the show. I haven't watched it since I was a kid, but basically this has Sneak, which is kind of like ninjutsu for spells, and you can bounce a creature that is unblocked to your hand, and then target opponent mills half their library. Round it up. That's pretty good. 2 mana to mill half your opponent's library. That's pretty good. And since we're playing ninja action, let's go ahead and get Donatello's Technique in here. You can draw 2 cards. I figure, like, okay, if we're investing in putting Slitherblade, which is a terrible creature, but is very good at proccing ninjutsu or Sneak in this case. If we're putting this in our mill deck, then like why not have a couple other mill payoffs? So drawing a couple cards can be a good card draw engine there. We've of course got Rune Crab and Hedron Crab, and up against a creatureless opponent, then it doesn't really matter what we're attacking with. We can potentially trigger Kitsune's Technique. If they don't have a creature early on, like let's say they're like, oh, I'm up against mill, I'm not going to prioritize putting out creatures. I'm going to go dig for like removal for the Rune Crab or something. Like maybe they cast a Ponder and then we get in and Kitsune them. We also have Archive Trap, the best mill card ever printed probably. 0 mana to mill 13 cards. We have Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which is very powerful because it exiles instead of mills. And there are lots of ways you can like put cards back in your deck, or you can benefit from having cards in your graveyard, right? Like we're up against Dredge, for example. So this is nice because it can exile stuff. A lot of decks also have like just one critical card that they're trying to resolve, like a Tendrils or something like that, and you can put that in exile and make it to where they have a hard time winning. So this is otherwise just like a standard mill deck. We do have the Brainstorms and Ponders. We've got Field of Ruin in here to force our opponent to search so we can Archive Trap them. And it's also kind of like nice to be able to hit like the specific lands if they're like mana screwed, kick them while they're down. I don't expect that to do much, but it is nice to have that in our range. Sideboard is 4 Force Negations for combo matchups, 4 Consigned Memory for combo matchups and big mana matchups, 4 Surgical Extractions, which are kind of nice because they're taking cards out of our opponent's deck, and they are also our anti-graveyard tech in case we go up against Oops All spells. And I was previously playing a card called Ensnaring Bridge, but I'm like, let's play Propaganda because at the very least it pitches to force, and it's a cool effect that I've never featured on the channel before. So we're going to play a full 5 rounds with this budget deck that you can build for like $600. Check it out. Like if you're trying to get into Legacy, you don't have to play Oops All spells. You can actually play like a fun, interesting deck that's more interactive and actually play Magic the Gathering. And I'm going to keep publishing these no reserve list decks. I hope you enjoy this brew. Round 1, we're up against an unknown opponent, but they do occasionally play Eldrazi. We do have Hedron Crab, which I believe is how we open, and then we have Slitherblade. But we do have 2 ways to proc Donatello. Like this could proc this. We could go ahead and we could open Slitherblade. I'm just thinking like we get a guaranteed mill off this, and like this is doing damage is not how we win. Like it's extremely unlikely that we win through that. But I would like to Donatello's Technique, but I might be able to Donatello's Technique with Hedron Crab. The most likely thing our opponent is playing is Eldrazi. I think I'm just gonna stick the Hedron Crab, but I do like this hand. And of course, our deck is like all basics other than Field of Ruin, so we don't have to worry about their Wastelands, which is great. But we are putting them on notice that we're on a mill strategy, which is, you know, Slitherblade would have them like raise their eyebrows, like, okay, I've never seen that card in Legacy. But this, if you've played against mill or even in Modern, you're going to be familiar with this. It only serves a purpose in mill decks. The best thing they could do is not play a creature here so that we can get a Donatello Technique. And they might think it's a joke that we're attacking with our Hedron Crab if they have like a Tomeo or something. Do they have a creature? Okay, this gets the land. I think they block, unfortunately. But if they, for some reason, are lazy and just don't block it because they think we're joking around, boom. That's cool. Let's go ahead and play this. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're likely playing here. It's probably like a Green Suns deck. Okay, well, it is a Natural Order deck, and we did get one of their Natural Order targets out. I think I just go ahead and go across here, and they're probably going to block it. Okay, they didn't block it, so we get a free Donatello Technique. That's nice. I still think we're dead, but that did feel good. We don't have to discard. I can't redeploy yet. I can redeploy next turn, get some more deck points. So we'll just pass. We haven't drawn a force or anything like that. Tasha's Hideous Laughter. I mean, there's an Attrax in there. There's some other cards that are going to limit the potential. They may waste here. I actually would be fine with them wasting here. Badger Mole Cub, they can waste twice, but I only have 1 land to waste. Like, I hope they waste here because I just don't want them to have a lot of land. I just need time. So that happens. They get their Wasteland back. Wait, did they search their deck this turn? I don't think they did. I guess I can always just right click to see. No. Okay. So we have to wait. But they are a deck that is constantly searching. So we are very likely to be able to hit them. I got a party on back in chat. Be excellent to each other and party on. All right. So this is definitely Hedron Crab. And then we'll get the double trigger. Always yield to this. Come on, Atraxa. We got a Grist. It's not bad. Fiend Artisan. They're going to have a giant Fiend Artisan later. Let's go ahead and do this. Island trigger. Come on, Atraxa. Let's get the Atraxa out. Oh, we didn't hit the Atraxa. If we go Slitherblade here, we have Donatello Technique next turn. Yeah, I think I just want to do that. Like, just invest. Rest and vest, as they say in Silicon Valley. We'll pass. They're probably like, what the hell? Yeah, well, you're playing ninjas. It's just that we don't have a single ninja card in our deck, but it is a ninja deck. I will argue that the Kitsune and the Donatello techniques, those are honorary ninjas. I'm not going to change the name of this league video, the video description. I am going to continue to call this Ninja Mill. Okay, so they are able to do that with a Wasteland again, which is not a big deal because, again, I find it unlikely that I'm going to have another good target. So we actually have we don't have a blocker here, so they can attack for 3. They may have endurance in their sideboard, which would be scary. That would be very good against us. Green Sun, please. Green Sun for 1. All right. Oh, wait. How are they getting 3? Oh, yeah, because they have double freaking Badger Mole Cub. Well, that's not good. That is not good. Is this endurance? Yep. Well, luckily, we're going to do this afterward. We're still going to get the deck points. Bazooka Bog hitting our graveyard, which doesn't matter. Like, we don't use our graveyard for anything. They go to combat. They can attack for 2 here. I'll take it. Yeah, we do have like this deck is nice in that it does have chumpers for like the last few turns. All right, let's hope that that's the only endurance in their deck. All right, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, just as I said, as I may have said in the deck, the best of these cards ever printed. So I think this is all after turn. And if I'm still alive, I can do stuff next turn. I probably will still be alive. Atraxas in exile. Or in the graveyard already. 17 cards. They're at 14. We're doing the thing, kind of. I'll leave this back to block. I'm not actually going to block. I could attack for 1. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't want to be in some awkward situation where like I die because the Sliverblade is tapped and I decided to do the cheeky 1 damage. Let's take a look at exile. We have not hit their big guy. He's still in there, I think. So they could kill us with that. Like, they could still natural order and kill us. They actually could maybe even Green Sun for him because they get so much mana off this. There's the natural order, and there's the freaking big thing, and now we're dead. Yeah, we got him once, but they put him back in the deck. Yeah, that is very, very lethal. I like to just let it connect just so we can marvel at the sheer damage output. It's a lot of damage. I mean, assuming I don't block, which, yeah, they're trample. It doesn't really matter. So we can just add 3. So, yeah, I would have taken like 20 damage. Or 19 damage there. Or negative 19. I would have taken a lot more than that. Okay. So, not a great matchup, frankly. They have the ability to put their deck back in at any point. Propaganda isn't even that good here, unfortunately, because, yeah, I mean, it's just like this is the nightmare matchup, frankly. And I promise we're going to get good matchups, too. And I'm not going to complain about every matchup. But this one is particularly egregiously unfortunate. And we're not going to get any more surprise value. They're going to start blocking our Rune Crabs. I don't think we make any changes. Like, Propaganda, in theory, is good. But then you see that they're making tremendous amounts of mana. I think we probably do have to bring it in. What are we taking out? I think I can probably trim a Donatello Technique because the surprise value is gone. Also, like, we didn't lose because of a lack of cards. We lost because they were just too fast. If they hadn't had that Crater Hoof, we probably would have had at least another 2 or 3 turns to figure out how to kill them. Yeah, I think I'll trim on Donatello Technique. Kitsune is still really good. A lot of it is the variable reward of like, okay, did we flip all their, natural order targets? This is not like a force of negation matchup. Technically, it is a combo matchup, but it's not like, oh. So this is Tishana's technique, or Kitsune's technique. If we find a land, I'm going to go ahead and Slither Blade with the hope of doing that. And then we just basically have to hit land, and then we can win. If we're fast enough, they may not have the mana, the Green Sun for Endurance. I do think Tasha's Hideous Laughter is really good. Like, that's probably the best card in our deck against them, because they do have the ability to just put their graveyard back in their deck. I mean, they may have like 2 or 3 Endurances now, post-board. Once Upon a Time, Ignoble Hierarch, who's the card they chose. It's out. Let me take half your deck, please. Give me a land. I really, really want to try this. Okay, it's not the end of the world. I think we want the Archive Trap and the Delta, but like, I think actually I don't want these cards. I just want the Delta. My reasoning is I need to get to 3 mana, and I'm just going to stay back to prevent chip damage. Cause like at the very, like, I just want to max my life, keep my life total flush. So force pitching one of the Tasha's Hideous Laughter is probably the line here, because Kitsune technique will do a lot of damage to them, assuming they can't find, like, obviously Tasha's Hideous Laughter is way better if they have Endurance, but they don't necessarily have Endurance. And maybe I just force the Endurance. I think that's probably the line. Or if they Green Sun for like enough mana to Endurance me, then I can force that. There is also a reasoning that's not the fight. That does create tons of mana, but I need to stop the actual payoffs. Okay, they're just proccing a land. That's fine. And they may be actively kind of being careful about fetching. All right, I'm going to wait till my upkeep and then I'm going to fetch. Okay, so we've got Kitsune online, but we want to find a land so we can Tasha's. Oh, that's good. All right, we're doing it. We're doing the thing, friends. Boom! Half your deck. 26 cards. Not bad for a 2 mana spell. They're fetching. It's fine. I will be forcing Endurance, and hopefully we won't have a follow-up Endurance. I think Slitherblade has done his job. I'm probably going to force pitching him. Is that right? I get the Arbor. Okay, let's take a look at what we got. Okay, so I see 2 Endurances. All 3 Endurances! Holy guacamole, that's good. Let's go ahead and hit them again while they're down. Boom! Let's get all those targets out. All those juicy... Oh, so Atraxa. Freaking Craterhoof. Okay, your deck sucks now. Yes! I mean, there could still be the 4th Endurance, which blows us out. If we find a land, we untap. We have Tasha's Hideous Laughter. We win. Yeah, that's 3. I don't imagine they have 4, but they absolutely could have 4. Any other observations about the cards that they've exiled here? Jump out to mind. No. Yeah, we just have to draw a land and then the game's over. It's as simple as that. I can play the Slitherblade out because I don't need all 3 of these. I just need 1. So I'll definitely force pitching a Tasha's Hideous Laughter here. I'm so happy that we got to do the thing in the first round. Like, this is probably going to be like a 1-4 league or something like that. But like, just doing the thing makes me feel so happy. This is probably Endurance. I just can't take the chance, frankly. If they have 1 more Endurance, I need to get it out of the deck some other way. So I think they do have a 4th Endurance based on that targeting 3, unless they're just bluffing. Like, they had the extra mana, so they just maxed it. But like, it was an effective gambit. Let's draw the land and let's finish them. We've got like 15 lands left in our deck, I think. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 16 lands. Come on, give us just one of those lands. Any land. All right. I'm going to go ahead and Slitherblade. And I will Slitherblade again. And these are our chumpers to keep us alive. These can also block like most of their creatures. So they don't really have good attacks anymore. They're actually really low on mana. Oh, no, they're not low on mana because of Badger Woke Up. They have ridiculous mana. Oh, please don't have the freaking Endurance or another Green Sun. How many Green Suns have they? 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of their Green Suns are out there. Once Upon a Time. This is going to find the Endurance, unfortunately. Like, the odds are that it finds it. Oh, it's like 5 and it's a 50% chance they find it. Collector Roof. Okay, well, that's not a good card for us. Like, it doesn't have any impact at all on us. I'm surprised it's in their deck. They may not know, though, because we're playing a Rogue Brew. So I'm not like faulting them for keeping it. I mean, they do have like, this does give them the raw power to like just kill us in a turn or 2. I think I actually Do I block here? I think I just take the 4. Kitsune technique will not get us there because it's half rounded up, so that would just clear 5 of the cards. We just need a land. Come on, deck. Haha. And at this point, like, they could tap 3 and cast Endurance if they have it in their hand. Or they could show us the rest of their deck on the way out. Oh, they scooped before we got to see it. Good game. That felt good. All right. I don't think Surgical comes in here. I think our deck is the best it can be. Let's do it. All right, let's take a look at this hand. I don't think this is a keep. Too many lands, and Archive Trap's not going to get us there. We need 2 Tasha's. This is fine. Put back a Field of Ruin, and Propaganda is a sideboard card that might help keep us alive. I'm not sure that Propaganda is going to be particularly strong here. I'm going to hold my Archive Trap until like toward the end. I'll just trust that they're going to be able to Endurance, that they really want an Endurance, and I'm going to try to get all my triggers at the end, basically. But they could just hold the Endurance until the draw step. Guys, Cradle. I will look forward to blowing that up with Field of Ruin if time permits. It may not. Again, this is like the Nightmare matchup, and I feel proud that we even got one game. Because like a lot of decks have like Graveyard Hate, but very few decks are playing Endurance right now. This might be the only one. Some of the Cradle control, like this is basically Cradle control, but it's like, it looks like it's, just standard Cradle control. But the that's not bad. I'm just going to play this out and I'll chill. And then I can like maybe brainstorm next turn. Because I'm trying to set up like an explosive series of turns. And if they play something that must be forced, I can do that. Choke is a card they could have. I doubt they have it, but that's worth noting. It like hoses my deck pretty hard. This brainstorm may very well put back Kitsune technique just because it's going to be very hit and miss. I don't think it's good in this matchup because it doesn't matter how many cards we have in their graveyard. If they have Endurance, they have it. We have to be able to stop it. All right, this is a brainstorm. Okay, the Tasha's Hideous Laughter is the card we want to protect. I think we give them the opportunity to take Propaganda. I want to put back a Field of Ruin. It's just too many dead cards. And then I'll put this on top because this is, like I said, this is by far the best card against their deck. Okay, and maybe they get freaked out and take Kitsune's technique, but they shouldn't. They should take the Archive. They probably should take the Propaganda. But if they have an Exalted, like Propaganda is not very good against them, which is one of the reasons I was saying this is like a horrible matchup. We'd actually be much better off with Ensnaring Bridge, which I was playing in the previous league. But my thinking was, like it can be, that's very good for me. The fact that they thought Kitsune was the threat. No, the real threat is hiding on top of my deck. Cradle, Badger Mole. This card is a freaking beating. They have so much mana now. There's no way, like they can like hard cast the Crater Hoof if they want to. A lot of people have been complaining about, like control gamers have been complaining about how just insanely pushed this card is, and I will refrain from complaining, but I will just let you know that other people are complaining about it. All right. So here we do have a dead card on top, so we do need to shuffle this turn cycle. So I'll just play this out and we'll pass. Don't have a way to clear this. Like if I kill this, I have to kill it twice, so I'm never going to get rid of it. We just have to take for granted that they have basically infinite mana, and Propaganda is not going to do a damn thing this league, this match. I think it will be good against other aggro decks. Like I think it'll be good against the Ocelot Pride decks. Actually, it may be worse just because, but what I was thinking is in the previous league that I recorded, 4 mana. It's just insane. 4 mana for 1 land. Okay, this is death for us. Unfortunately, this is probably like a giant green sun. Yeah. Or that. Yeah, that's good too. Now they have Atraxa. I don't see how we ever win against their crazy combo deck. So I think the line is we see what they find. They may not have the Endurance in hand. They found an Endurance, so I can presume that's coming in. If they don't take Endurance, I'll just assume that they have another one. So we're not going to be able to Archive Trap them, even though they searched, because it'll just get put back. So the real question is, okay, we're taking 2 this turn. Next turn, we're taking 9, maybe 10. So we might be able to survive long enough to Tasha them twice. Okay, the cards they chose were Endurance, Green Sun Zenith, Dryad Arbor. So not like an insane thing, but we just have this insane creature now to deal with. Okay, Dryad Arbor's out, so that is even more mana. We'll take the 1. And I will just Delta here. Like basically we have to Tasha's 2 turns in a row. That's how we win. And I'm not even sure if that's good enough because they have 45 cards over there. Do they have the ability to endurance? They almost certainly have a green card, so they can endurance in a pinch. So I don't think it's correct to Archive Trap here. Rune Crab doesn't do anything really, does it? I think it has to be Tasha's Hideous Laughter here. We can play Field of Ruin and use that to force them to shuffle. Yeah, I'm just going to Tasha's here. And then, like I said, I think the only path forward is, I don't know. Yeah, 12 cards. It's not even close to enough. I think we're just dead. Rune Crab just wouldn't have done enough. Because of endurance. We did get Craterhoof out. And we got Grist. We did get a lot of their high curve cards are accounted for, but they still have 3 natural orders in there. I mean, if I were them, I'd just attack twice. It's not that hard to do. If they do anything to search or try to get fancy, then we have a huge edge on them. I mean, that's fine. I'm not going to be able to punish that, unfortunately. I think it'd be a mistake to attempt to punish when they have the endurance in there. Look at the amount of mana they have. They're just going to natural order for something big. I don't even know what it could be. Do they have yet another natural order target in their deck? Or are they just maximizing their options? So Crater Hoof is not in there if that's what they're thinking. They may not have noticed that it was exiled. Grist isn't in there. I actually don't know if they have any good targets a White of the Reliquary wouldn't be terrible here, or just get another endurance. Oh, Alpha Deathclaw. How does this work? Yeah, they can destroy our land. I don't think that we even need to hold on to hope. What are the odds that this doesn't have haste, but we're so dead? There's no way that even if we draw Tasha's that we're going to get the kill here. If we're taking 9, that we're dead on board. Tasha's the only card that's even remotely relevant here, and there's no way that it's getting 31 cards in their big mana curve deck. All right, round 2. We're up against a likely person that plays a lot of Eldrazi type, big mana colorless type strategies. This is a crab hand. I'm going to keep it. Yeah, I mean, it's too many lands, but we have Brainstorm, so that's fine. If they Chalice, is actually pretty catastrophic. If they Chalice, I probably force it, pitching Brainstorm, so I can still get my crab in. My opponent said, they saw my name and they said, I will attempt to be okay at best. I can't promise. Excellent. That's a lot to hold up to. Big mana strategy confirmed. So there is a risk that they have Emrakul in the deck, which would reset a lot of our hard work. Okay, another crab. That's not terrible. Crab. Unfortunately, One Ring, this is the crab that targets. So if they do One Ring, that'll suck. Okay, they have just 2 mana here. Grim Monolith. That's not the fight. That does get them closer to Metalcraft. So we're up against the Karnforge deck. So this gives them 4 mana. I could just force it, and then they don't have a lot of mana, but they may have another key. For all we know, they have 2. I don't really want to force because I've got a lot of chaff in my hand. I think I'm just going to let them go and hope that they don't have One Ring. They have tons of mana, just arbitrarily large amounts of mana now. Flesh Trigger, I'm going to let that go. I'm not going to fight that. It's annoying, but it's their win con. Okay, yeah, I can live with Flaring Flesh Trigger. It's not the end of the world. I would rather be able to Brainstorm and get rid of some chaff. Oh my goodness, we're drawing so many lands. This is terrible. All right, so I do need a Brainstorm first. I would love to use this crab and get, but come on, deck, don't give me more lands. Okay, so that's Kitsune technique, but they will block because it's a weak creature. I actually think we need to put back this. I mean, this is potentially not bad because we could do it 2 turns in a row, but it's so slow. And it's not really that consequential. I think I just want to max the fetches. And I'll keep Kitsune reluctantly. It sucks. If they attack, then maybe there's a window where we get to attack and they're like, haha, you're attacking with a 0/5 crab. And then Kitsune technique, That's what you want. You want to call an ambulance, but not for me. You know what I said? All right. So we will mill them. We got the Mystic Forge. That's not a terrible card to hit. I mean, Kitsune technique could also be pitch to force. I actually may just pitch a crab. Do I think a crab's going to get there? A series of crabs? Maybe. They said, that's fine. I didn't want those. Okay, well, hopefully you wanted some of those. I don't know. Probably not. I assume that Tezzeret's good right now from their side of the table. All right. They were probably just saying that in jest, by the way. I don't think you want me to think I think they're salting off. I think they're having fun. Also, how cool is it the Ninja Turtles in here? Yeah. Ninjas. Like a monster seeking prey in the night, the truth will hunt you down. Brutal. All right, you've got lots of mana. Do you have a Haymaker? Is this a force? This can go get... I mean, my instinct is this untapped Grim Monolith is kind of annoying, but is it worth forcing? I don't think it is. I'm going to let it go. Again, my hope is that they just like let a crab through because it's funny, because they're having fun over there. They attack and then I take it, and then they let the crab through. Yeah, you have a lot of mana. I understand that. Mystic Force, this is the force. So I'm glad I held the force because this basically lets them just churn through the deck. So I guess like I have to ask, like, do I want to get lucky with milling half their deck? I think it's less reliable than just crabbing them to death. This does give away the game. Because like if they just block for some reason, like they have two things, but they might have more action here. I don't know. Like it feels like Kitsune is just not the path forward, like just milling a lot. I've got a lot of fetches. This is sneaky. Yeah. So now the jig is up. Like this thing only works once, right? This is like a gimmick deck. You're like, you're always going to block the crabs if you have a blocker. Okay, Pithing Needle. That's fine. That's their last card. They can still like O-ring one of my dudes if they want. But they're like basically out of ammo. They have so much mana if they find... what do they name? Polluted Delta? Yeah, that's a good name. But I've only got 3. I've got 3 of every fetch, I think. I like to... this is precisely why you diversify your fetches. If you're like, just play 4 of each so the deck tech is easier to like see and stuff. No, you definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so we could still draw Kitsune and use her because they did attack. But I'm more optimistic about the future of us crabbing them to death. Crab. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to get a lot of deck points here. Yield to all. They said boo. And I'm going to fetch first because I definitely need to do that. And then we're going to ponder and we're going to try to hit like... Guess what are we going to try to hit here? I guess I could have like pondered into a crab. That would have been insane. Tasha's not good against their deck, unfortunately. I think this is shuffle. Like that's crazy though. But like they don't actually have that many ways to search. I'll probably be taking out the... oh, wait. Search your library. Yeah, I think Archive Track is actually good here. And then I just have Tasha's to finish off. Yeah, I think we basically have to have that work. Take the trap. And then next turn we're going to get another, 12 points. So I think we might be able to win. If they don't search, then Tasha's will have to do the legwork. But if they do search, then Field of Ruin can finish it for us. I am worried about Emrakul, though. We should know whether they have an Emrakul in their deck by the end of this game, though. Assuming they don't just win right now. Come on. You want to search for something. You don't. There's no point in untapping this just to gain loyalty, right? You can't minus here. Oh, they're not searching? They're not doing anything? All right. So, let's see. We're hitting it for 18 here if we Field of Ruin. And we're taking out Nexus. Oh, and then we're archiving. So that'll kill them. Unless they have Emrakul. And it's too late for them to kill one of these. I think they're dead to the triggers. So they do have to search even if they don't have anything to find. You can't decline the search. All right. Take a bunch of deck points here. Don't hit an Emrakul. No Emrakul. No Emrakul. No Emrakul. Archive Trap. No Emrakul, please. Show me your deck, please. Don't concede. I want to see what else you have in there. And well, actually, if they don't concede, that means they have a number. We got it. Okay. Wow. Lucky. They had a pretty strong start. I'm proud of the discipline in not forcing either the Grim or the or this, right? Like, and we stopped the big card that would have like let them. We just basically assumed they have arbitrarily large amounts of mana, and we focused instead on stopping the card that needed to be stopped, which was the actual thing. Okay, so I think Kitsune technique, like, it is gimmicky. They've seen it. We take a Slitherblade. Like, they're not going to have blockers usually anyway. Like, that was an aberration that they had the blocker there. I think there was a card that I said we needed to take out. Tasha's Hideous Laughter is terrible against them, frankly. They have so much mana value that like we'll be lucky if it hits like even 3 or 4 cards. Or no, it'll probably hit like 5 or 10, but it's like for that much mana, I think we cut it. I'm more inclined to use Archive Trap just because it's free, And we can do plays like we did there with Field of Ruin, which is exceptional against their deck. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it that way. And I'll keep these in. These are blue cards to pitch to force. It's not that bad. I don't like Surgical here. Yeah, I think this is how we do it. We've got lots of counter spells. That's the one thing our deck has going for it, is like we have tons of interaction for their key cards. This is a great hand. Yeah, Rune Crab. We have Brainstorm to find another land. We have a force effect. We have double Archive Trap if they have the audacity to search. But the only searches are usually Urza Saga, which is an unavoidable search, and that other guy that the Tezzeret Planeswalker searches. They milled a 6. Actually, milling is a good strategy against me because this foot is an extra deck point. Okay. Key's fine. You never go after the keys. You go after the monoliths. Okay. So I think I just assume that like Force Negation is going to get something here. All right. Archive Trap number 3. I love that card. Best mill card ever printed. Rune Crab's out. This doesn't target. This is the better of the crabs. So even if they manage to get, what's it called up? The One Ring, we're okay. I don't like fighting over this, but we have like literally nothing going on if we let this die. They could just play a land, but like how bad would that be? They're giving us a way to force it. I think I am going to stop it. And then I'm going to Brainstorm, and I'm just like, this represents a lot of triggers. The Rune Crab. Like technically this like combined, this is like it's like a third of their deck, but it's not enough to finish them. And I just want to believe that Rune Crab is good. And also Rune Crab can trigger ninjutsu, which is quite good. I think this is just play it, trigger, and then I'm just going to fetch immediately. And I'm not going to be able to Brainstorm, but that's okay because my hand's fine. I just want to go ahead and do this before they can kill Rune Crab in case that's in their intentions. Okay, we won't attack here. I could attack and scare them, but unfortunately it Mox Uphold is fine. So Consign is like what's keeping us from death here. They haven't played on Urza Saga, which is what I need to see here. But like by pitching the Archive Trap, we kind of like decrease our downside risk. But like actually Archive Trap would be good for 39 cards, which would practically be death if they ever search. And I do believe they will eventually search, or we'll force them to search. Because this is great because I can Donatello technique here. Get this back in hand. Ooh, we did not hit a land. That's sketchy. I think we still have to play this out. I think we still have to play it out. I mean, we have 7 cards. I think I'll just hold because this like simultaneously keeps him free from harm, and we could Brainstorm to hit a land. I think it's actually worth risking to find a Brainstorm. Okay, when we found a land, it's not a good land. It doesn't allow us to cast Consign, so we're very vulnerable here. But we can force them to shuffle next turn. So I think we're going to put back a Donnie technique and maybe a Ponder. Yeah, I'll do that. And I'll just redraw the Donnie technique, I guess. And we play our land out and we pass. And next turn they have to search when we do this to blow up their soul land. Or their soul SOLE land that is not yet a SOL land. Sorry for the weird pun. It was not intentional. Don't play it. Don't play the One Ring. Mystic Forge. That sucks. Okay, they don't have a lot of land. We're about to blow this up and then we'll have even less. But I can't do anything on the turn that I'm blowing it up other than just like double Archive Trap them. But I do need the land. So I will get a land and I can use that to play a Rune Crab. Like drawing a land right now would be great, but we know we're not going to. Yeah, we just had to do this. And I'm not going to play with the crab here because I do want to have Consign up to stop something big. Does that make sense? I think it does. So they whiff. Yeah, I mean, they would be practically dead here had we pitched something else. It's fine. Don't hit an Emrakul. I don't think they have Emrakul on their sideboard, but they might. We could actually technically Consign the trigger if that happened. So now I'm just going to chill. And next turn, Rune Crab, Ponder, land drop. Okay, they have another Urza's Tower. Manifold Key's fine. If they find a Monolith, I will have to Consign it. Okay, that was very lucky for us. I'm thinking about Brainstorming just for momentum here. I think it's fine. Our hand's fine, but I just want to find land. This is insane. This is really good. So we Rune Crab, and then we can do that twice in a row. So I think the card that goes back is just the Ponder. and then I'll redraw this land. I want to have both lands for sure. And now I've got Consign, so I think we're going to win this one. Rune Crab. Land drop. Always yield. And again, this is the good one that does not care about One Ring. We lost to this in the previous mill league, which, sorry if you haven't watched it, it was like the first round. So it's vindicating to beat this in the second time. And we're beating it like really hard. Like they haven't gotten any wins yet. I don't think they're going to be able to win from here. That's totally fine. I don't care. I can consign the trigger that allows it to create creatures if I need to, but they're going to be so close to death that I don't think it'll matter. They can't really fully exploit Mystic Forge just because they're low in deck points. And that necessarily involves them playing cards off the top of their deck, which gets them closer to death. The main thing I want to avoid here is them being able to clear our Rune Crab, because that's how we're going to get the last few points here. Yeah, that's a consign for me, bro. And I don't have to replicate it. Okay. And now we can get our land drop trigger, and then I can also Donatello technique to get deeper into my deck. Or we could just win. Is this victory? This is victory, actually. So check it out. We attack. We Kitsune technique, hit, yeah. And then we just replay the crab and kill him. 5 deck points, please. This does target, unfortunately. Okay, they've got 4 deck points. Now we just play this out. Play this out. They got 1 deck point. And let's leave them at 0, shall we? I think this is better than the original. I think the ninja thing is an improvement. They said GG's. There's 0. GG's. Well played, but crab's too strong. Right, round 2 or round 3, we're 1-1. We've got a pretty solid hand. I like this a lot. It's got a crab. It's got a slither. It's got a ninjutsu thing. It's got an archive trap. Let's keep unknown opponent, but they have played like Stifle Knot type decks, which fortunately Doorkeeper Thrall doesn't do anything against us. It literally does not have any impact, which is great. So I think we play the Slither Blade. My reasoning here is we're not going to be able to get value off the Rune Crab anyway. And Slitherblade attacks through whatever they have, and also it doesn't give away that we're on a Slitherblade. They might just think we're ninjas, which we are ninjas, but to anybody who's like, that's not real ninjas. No, I've got plenty of leagues with real ninjas. I literally titled one Real Ninjas because people were criticizing me for playing too many blue-black tempo decks and cards in my ninjas deck. I would be totally fine if they daze here, because that's another reason to put this out, is this bait. Like the crab is so much more important than this. So Tasha's Hideous Laughter is not very good if they're playing like Null Drifters and stuff, but I don't know. I'll stand by this being better just because it's easier to cast than the Fractured Reality. And generally, I'd say, like, based on my experience, it is generally exiling like, 10 to 15 cards, which is about the range of Fractured Reality. And against like Ad Nauseam or something, it'll exile their entire deck. Okay, they're doing that. That is fine. Yeah, and I could have given away the fact I didn't want to play into Daze, which is the reason that I didn't use the Archive Trap. And also I wanted to preserve some ambiguity as to what we're on. So they're tapped out. I'm going to Rune Crab. If they daze, it's sad. They don't daze. We get in the trigger. Okay, Tommy, so seeing pretty typical blue-white fare. I'm going to go and do this now while they can't interact. Get this land here. Trigger. Okay, yeah. Doorkeeper Thrall. Phyrexian Dreadnought. Typical stuff that I expect out of, like, based on their match history, which you should always look up your opponents. Don't feel dirty about it. Like, everybody does it. Bosch and Roll does it. Like, they may not do it in a league, but they're definitely going to do it at a major event. He's talked at great length. The entire Eternal Glory team has talked about it. I just want to go out and try to dispel this myth that you shouldn't be looking at public information. People can absolutely look at what I'm doing, but I'm doing something different every time. So I have the brewer's advantage. So this is just a punter, and we will try to find a force just in case. That'd be like ideal. Doesn't get much better than that. Holy cow, that is a freaking sequence. What a spread. All right, and I'm not sure if they're on days because they have Urza Saga. Like, Urza Saga and days do not go in a deck together, regardless of what, Death and Taxes players may have you believe. I think it's not a good combo. We have Field of Ruin if they ever play a non-basic. So we can use Field of Ruin on Urza Saga, which is pretty tight. Artawara could be hit with Field of Ruin. Torpor Orb is the card that enables like their entire deck. Do we care? I do think we care. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to counter it. And I will pitch I want to pitch Donatello Technique because we're going to Field of Ruin next turn. Is that right? These are worth 2 cards. Maybe I should pitch the Archive Trap. Yeah, I think we just pitch Archive Trap because they may not search again. They'll probably eventually search. Donatello Technique is like a guaranteed card draw, and I can actually use it next turn. Yeah, I'm going to... Yeah, because I'd rather have 2 cards to replace this. And even if they counter this, I'm getting a card out of their hand. Okay. So now we don't have to immediately worry about Dreadnought, because that's something we can't do anything about. We're like just screwed if they Dreadnought. We're not playing removal because we're kind of a combo deck, as weird as it sounds and as dirty as it sounds to say that. So we're going to go ahead and field and hit that, I think, and then we Donatello Technique. Boom. Got to keep them low resources when they're Null Drifter deck. And I think it's highly likely they have another card, but I just am committed to this line in my mind. I know I have a fetch on top, but this will trigger the crab. They can stifle this. They don't. Okay. And you could say like, well, that was your window right there to just trap them. And that is totally fair. Yeah, maybe I should have pitched Tasha's. Maybe that was a punt. Okay. These cards are not great. We got more than enough land deck. Good news is we've got Rune Crab, fetch, Tasha's next turn. And maybe that'll be good enough. Okay, Urza Saga. So maybe I just was total error because now we have to deal with these things. Yeah, that's good. All right. Can we get there before their giants get there? They're giant creatures. Oh, they're passing the second main, but they're not passing. Do they have the Dreadnought? I'm dead to the Dreadnought. There's no way I can race it. Brainstorm? Sure. They are looking really hard for the one of 3 remaining Dreadnoughts in 34 cards. 37 technically, because they're going to... Well, yeah, they're looking at... Yeah. They had 37 when they cast the Brainstorm. That's great news. Great news, everybody. Oh, Slitherblade. I wish you were good. Let's go ahead and Rune Crab. And we immediately have priority, so they have to force it, and they don't. Boom! Trigger. And then let's trigger again. Please don't have days in your Urza Saga deck. It sucks if they do, but like that is something that they can do, and it'll just randomly kind of blow me out. All right, we're doing it. Does it resolve? Okay, 13 cards. So that's, I think it's 13 that you get from Fractured Reality. So that was on rate. We got a Null Drifter. We got their Skateboard, which is kind of cool. 2 Null Drifters. Yeah, that explains why we only got 13. But their curve is pretty low, aside from these giant Null Drifters. I think, like, because of the way it works, like, Null Drifter was probably the last card revealed. So we got more cards than we would have normally. I want to see. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to add it up, but I suspect. Also, Brazen Borrower's good at, like, slowing us down because it's a 3-drop. Okay. So they get we have to win quickly here because they are going to go get a Dreadnought off this unless we manage to mill the Dreadnoughts. So they get a bot and then they get the Dreadnought and then the Dreadnought death trigger does not happen. Okay, wow. Yeah, this is a lot of potential construct and they already have it. So I think that's death. I can play out the Slitherblade just as a blocker. Brainstorm is good. I'm trying to think of what we could find here. I mean, if we find an Archive Trap, we can kill them when they search. But no, we can't really. We have to take a hit. But they won't have Skateboard access. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm first because I do want to shuffle away some of these jank cards. Kitsune Technique, not good enough, unfortunately. Field of Ruin on this, and then we take away one of their triggers, and we get an extra turn. But it's not really an extra turn. Okay, so we're going to put this back for sure. And then Kitsune Technique is just not good enough, unfortunately, but it is better than a land that we're never going to have time to use. So I'll put it back, play this out, trigger. I am going to go ahead and do this now. They can create a robot if they want. They should, unless they have like something like a stifle in their hand or something like that. Okay, they are making... Oh, they're sinking that. It's pretty good. Okay, so that means that they don't get the trigger. Yeah, I think if I had kept... Yeah, they're at exactly 13 cards. If I had kept... there might have been some way that I could have done something here. Basically, what we need to do is we need to Kitsune them next turn and then Rune Crab and then fetch. And that's our path to victory. Okay, so they get the trigger. They can make a bot. They're coming in. So the question is, do we just block? No, there's no reason to block. This way I can attack with both and definitely trigger Kitsune. And then we get fine. Now I can, yeah. I mean, technically this will definitely connect. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this. They're hellbent. I think we win. Okay, so this is coming back to hand. They lose 6 cards, and that is exactly the number that Rune Crab's going to hit when we fetch. And we have exactly 1 island left in the deck, right? Yeah. So we cut it extremely close there. But this felt great. Boom. Trigger. And let's go get the land. It is in the deck, right? All right, it is. New York City. Beautiful overlook. 0 cards in deck. Sure, you can make a dude. Good game. That was great. Wow, what a freaking game. Like literally every deck point mattered. And I actually don't know that I would have been able to laughter them. Let's take a look at their deck. One of the beauties of playing this deck is you do get to look at your opponent's entire deck. Any surprising cards? No. This looks like I don't see Days in here, so I was correct to not play around it. Dress Down could be an issue. Taking away, like, that could have come up at some point and taken away. But like playing Dress Down and Urza Saga in the same deck. Mycosynth Gardens, very spicy. I want to shout out a guy named Ryan, who plays a deck very similar to this up at Boardwalk Games. I'll shout out Boardwalk Games as well. Check it out if you want to play some Legacy and you're in the Dallas area. We play every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Local time, and we usually have like 20 plus people there. So Propaganda, not good enough. I think Consign is a snap put in the deck. I think the other card that it's not clear what we cut. I think Force is potentially good because we could like stop like they had to have 2 of the orbs. Yeah, but we routinely get 29 or 20, like 15, 20 people, sometimes like 30. We're having a 1K in a few months. So if you're in the area, come out to Boardwalk Games. All right. So shout out to Ryan for playing a deck that my opponent's playing here. Yeah, I think we keep it the way it is. There is the temptation to take out some Slither Blades just because it's so, like, they're not a creature heavy match. Like, it's possible that, like, they can't block our Rune Crab. So I could trim these, but then, like, I do need to trim some other things. 2 more cards out. I don't know. I don't think they have, like, anything to stop us from milling them. And there's no downside to us milling them. I don't think they have any way to use their graveyard. I think I could probably go down a Kitsune technique if I'm trimming some of these. They're not going to be able to disrupt our mana. They're not even trying. I could cut fetch on the draw. I think that's totally reasonable. Let's do it. So we're down to 19 cards. We could get mana screwed like this. This does happen sometimes, and don't let it discourage you from potentially cutting a land against a deck that's not going to interact with your mana base. Let's mulligan. I mean, this is a good hand. So I think this, for the reasons that I said earlier, we don't have a ninja effect. I'm just going to play Slither Blade, and we're going to Hedron Crab, which is the one that is the weakest. And then we will Rune Crab afterward. I don't think it really matters that much, the sequence. Okay, we did draw a land. That's great. Hedron Crab, pass. And I will Archive Trap when they fetch. They may be thinking about forcing this, which is smart. You should be thinking about forcing this if you don't have a plow. Because this is what kills you. It's not like the big, flashy Tasha's Hideous Laughter cards. It's the... Okay, and ideally, they fetch during their upkeep, and that gives us... Okay. So I'm just going to stop here, and I am going to go ahead and use this Archive Trap while we can, because we may not get to use it later. So if you'd like to surveil, you're welcome to give me a deck point here. You keep it, that's fine. Best mill card ever printed. Let's do it. And because they have like Urza Saga, like if we hit targets, it's really good. Because their Urza Saga may come up dry. Okay, let's take a look at what we hit. We hit a Null Drifter. We hit 3 of their Doorkeeper Thralls. So their actual enablers are diminished significantly. And Hull Breacher, that's interesting. Tech, I don't know that it's good against our deck, but it might come up. So we are tapped out for Consign, but next turn we can potentially have it. Well, we can't really if we have to field a Rune here. I will Rune Crab field and then get double trigger. I'm not convinced that we're going to win this match. I think the fact that we had to mull and then we kept a 1-lander puts us at a serious disadvantage. But I will stand by the decision to cut a land. 19 lands is plenty against non-Wasteland decks. And we still have 15 initial blue resources, which is what we need. Okay, that works. Okay, and that was a 1-for-1. Lands, we're drawing them, just like I drew it up. And we can use these Field of Runes to get more lands later. They may force here. I don't expect Days out of the deck. Yep, that's great. That works. And they were correct to do that, frankly. That's like the most powerful thing they can force. So we are going to need to field a rune before we'll be able to do Tasha's Hideous Laughter. But we will have a consign up, so that might be able to hit it like a Null Drifter if they try to Null Drifter. But they're going to need a setup turn to get a dress down, or I mean, they could just like dress down into Dreadnought. That would work too. Okay, that's a good card. We will be hitting that. And we just keep drawing lands. This is totally fine. Like I said, I'm not going to show the fact that I have a second field rune. Okay, they float. What does that mean? They probably have the flash in guy, which I can't do anything about. And they still have 35 deck points, so we're not necessarily winning this game. Do you have the last of the Doorkeeper Trolls? Okay, they just floated just for, good housekeeping to make your opponent wonder, and it succeeded because I was thinking that they might have either one of the remaining Doorkeeper Trolls or Dress Down. I do think we probably want to... Oh, that's a scary land. So here, what they're about to do is copy this. So unfortunately, that's an activated ability. I think it would be a mistake to let this resolve. And it sucks because we don't have any recourse, but we did deny them that. And now I'm just going to hit that. I think that needs to happen now. We could wait a turn cycle. If we Tasha's, we're not going to be able to do both. We drew this stinky Flooded Strand. That doesn't help us at all right now. If they have a second one, if they had a second one, they would just play it. I think it's probably better to just save this for an Urza Saga, but I could be sorely mistaken. Let's try this. I'm just going to go ahead and Tasha them. I don't think they have interaction because they would have probably used it there. And hopefully we get all the Dreadnoughts out of their deck. Let's take a look. We got 12 cards. We got 0 Dreadnoughts. Oh, wait, we got 1. So there's still 2 more Dreadnoughts in the deck, which is terrifying because they can just, even without an enabler, this is their enabler, essentially. And it is not a land anymore, so we can't hit it. All right, and I'll keep this up. You could argue I shouldn't even played this out, and I actually think I shouldn't have played it out. Okay, so they're brainstorming, and now any Dreadnought they find is existential for us. I don't think we're going to be able to race it because it'll be 2 swings and we'll be dead. Brainstorm would be a great find because I don't like this Field of Ruin. Yeah, maybe I should have just played held up the Field of Ruin just to ensure that they didn't have an enabler should they find it. We did get 1 Dreadnought, but I was hoping to get more. So that might be result-oriented thinking there. They are going to get to clear whatever chaff they had. They got the perfect Brainstorm. Okay, they're not doing anything, which is huge for us. We just need time. Time is on our side. It's like the burn thing. Oh, come on, deck. All right. I think we play this out and we just chill because, if they try to activate this ability, yeah, it's an ability that goes on the stack and we can just Field Ruin then. But I would feel really dumb if they just I Field Ruin this and then they play Urza Saga because they had already played a land. So the Urza Saga might be the card. They've got tons of mana. Oh no, don't do it. Don't you hardcast this thing. All right. So we're in the Abyss officially. Yeah, that's pretty good. There was nothing I could have done. Had I hit that, they would have just gotten a land out of the deck. We know they have more basics. So that's fine. I'll just chill. This is target artifact. Okay, so they can't copy this. That would be terrifying if they could do that. I think I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to use this because if I find a crab, I've got a lot of deck points that I can take from them. Oh, come on, deck. No, not like this. We've drawn land 4 or 5 turns in a row, which I guess, we're going to start losing lands here in a second. So I guess it's not the end of the world. Yeah, I'll just chill. They're going to be annihilating my lands, but yeah, I just want to have a land drop. And also if I draw a Brainstorm, that fixes this hand quite nicely. Yeah, I'm feeling super dead. We may be able to hardcast Kitsune technique this game. Maybe not. All right, let's just sack that. Okay, we take our 4. It's going to take a few turns for us to die. It's not the end of the world. Brainstorm, sure. I will still hit Urza Saga. Scariest thing they could have is just another Null Drifter. I think, do they have 2 in exile? That was previous game. 1 Null Drifter. Yeah, just 1 Null Drifter here. So they have 2 more Null Drifters in the deck. I guess I could have gone after the Ancient Tomb to make them not be able to play that, but I don't know. The game's probably over if they have it anyway. And they had a land drop anyway, so come on, good card. Good game. We're not going to win. That's so frustrating. I guess we could win. I shouldn't concede. Yeah, I'll just, it's so tilting to draw, I think this is like the 5th or 6th land in a row, but it happens. So the important thing to note is we can only fetch 1 land now. So we are going to need a brainstorm. No, wait. We actually, all of our lands are accounted for. These don't even search. That's pretty devastating. Our opponent fails to find, which is nice. All right. So I will be sacrificing the Flooded Strand here since it doesn't get anything. Even if I manage to put a land back, 14 deck points, I can hard cast the trap if I draw it. They may have a force. Like they have 4 cards in hand. They must be reactive cards. Well, we drew Kitsune technique a turn too late, so we're never going to be able to use it, unfortunately. Unless we get a creature out, but it doesn't even matter. It's not going to kill on its own like the other cards would. And sacrifice, it's not like you can say, I will sacrifice this, then I'll activate it. No, you can't do that, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to just let this island go. I still want to hold this up just in case. Like Brainstorm's definitely the best draw on our deck. Come on, deck. It'll probably get forced. I imagine my opponent has 1 or more forces over there. They can even hardcast 1 if they want to. This game has been a pretty disastrous one. Sure. Would you like to attempt to copy it? Well, I am going to attempt to kill that land. And I will not find a land when I do this, unfortunately. Okay. So you've successfully traded 1 permanent for another. I have no lands. Do you have another trick to keep it alive? All right. It doesn't really matter. That was like an extra turn. Maybe that was actually a mistake. I just assume that they have force for whatever we draw here. Like let's say, yeah, good game. Okay, so I think we're gonna keep our deck the way it is. I genuinely just think Slither Blade is really bad here. Like even if they have a creature, they're gonna be attacking with it. I'm on the play. I want this land back. I'm gonna take out a Slither Blade. So we have 9 creatures, which is plenty to find a creature that can proc our ninja things. And it's worth noting Donatello technique can be hardcast. It's just a regular divination without the proc. But yeah. It's worth noting that if this were just like the regular 3 blue mana Fractured Reality card that exiles or discards 13 cards, we would have won that game. Probably. Well, maybe. I think they probably had force. Our opponent's playing very well. And us drawing bad and our opponent playing well is usually a recipe for us losing. This is a keep. It's not a great hand. I think it's good. It's a slow hand. We're just going to chill. This is like basically our best card is Consign, other than like actual things that win the game. So just take it slow. Maybe we draw a crab. I'm not going to mull a 3-laner that also has, a cantrip in it. That works. Very scary if they have the Ancient Tomb, which if they're doing it turn 1, they almost always have an Ancient Tomb. There's our crab. I will force to protect this. This is very important to us winning. All right, we're forcing here. Pitching force. Because Donatello technique is going to give us 2 new cards. They can afford to force back. Yeah, it sucks. Because they have access to this. Okay, so I think what I need to do here is probably just consign this trigger. It sucks, but I think it needs to happen. Because like we're just going to get run over if we don't. Like now we're like really playing defense. I just feel so bad though. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I think that like the way they're playing tells me that like they're all in on this Urza Saga basically. But I could absolutely be wrong. I think there's a high likelihood they're heavily in on this. Okay, we stopped it and it's still going to go get something or like a skateboard or something. And yeah, I want to believe that they did have an Ancient Tomb. Because why would they play that before that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Unless they have, you know what? They probably just have the freaking thing that, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and Donatello technique. This feels terrible. We drew another land, of course. I'm trying not to spiral, but like I want to defend my decision to do what we just did. But like they are going to have, and here we draw the Hedron Crab, so we've blown most of our things. They are going to have Doorkeeper Thrall into the search trigger. Dress down. That also works. And I just don't think there's any way, like series of draws that would get us out of this. And I want to emphasize like there was nothing I could have waited and done that, but like consigned that search trigger. But like we would have been dead if they'd had a bunch of robots. So I misread what my opponent was planning to do, but either way was devastating. If they just went Ancient Tomb, created 2 constructs, like our deck doesn't have a way to deal with the constructs. We would have lost that way too. And they can go get a second Dreadnought here in a little bit. So I will play the Hedron Crabs and I will fetch and I will pretend that the game is still, contested, but it's not. Okay, let's try this. Like, we would need to be incredibly lucky. And it looks like they still have interaction up. It is worth noting that we have a lot of blocking power, so we basically are buying ourselves in. Yeah, the way they're thinking about each of these cards makes me think that they have a force. All right, so we're going to target them. Always yield. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and fetch now. I don't think there's any reason to wait because we're just inviting removal. We did get a lot of their cards. They're at 30. Let's think about this. So there's nothing to be done here. We're hellbent. It's crazy. Why are you playing this card against me? You're crazy. I'm all basic islands. One. Yeah, they still have one in there, but they don't have a skateboard, at least. So they can't it doesn't matter. We're dead in 2 turn cycles anyway. I don't think it matters that we can chump one of them. But I will just take this damage to maximize our chances. Hope Springs Eternal. Okay, so if we drew... Actually, I can't think of what we draw here. There is no draw that saves us. If we draw a fetch, that hits a total of 18 cards, but it's not enough. So we'll just take all this. Drop to 5. We have a total of 7 block. It's not enough. It's fine. It actually does shut off our landfall, doesn't it? So it's like, maybe it's just like, it seems like it totally sucks. It also gives them infinite constructs. Good for them, I guess. Okay, so this doesn't matter, unfortunately. They're going to kill us for lethal. Good games. All right, we're back for round 4. We're 1-2. We've got a pretty strong hand against a likely control gamer. We're on the play. This is just a simple Hedron Crab, probably double trigger, then Donatello, then redeploy. I mean, that's the dream. That's the goldfish if they don't interact. This hand is just perfect pretty much. If they're on Jeskai, which they've played in the past, then their graveyard is of little use to them. If they're on something like Beans, then that might feel like a Murktide. So slow start over there. That's good for me. They keep their top. Right. I think this is just, let's go ahead and let's ensure that we can resolve this first. Trigger. We're going to get some more information about the deck. I guess that's one of the really nice things about playing Mill is if you have an unknown opponent, you're very soon going to have a known opponent. My opponent kept, and maybe they kept because they knew I was about to mill them and they just want to reduce the amount of milling. Oh, we got a Beanstalk. That's sick. Let's go ahead and do this. Trigger number 2. We got another Beanstalk. Well, actually, we are actually kind of cool with them having Beanstalk. All right, so we'll go to block. I'll just go ahead and draw 2 cards for 1 blue mana. Seems pretty good. Technically, it's 2 mana. Okay, they were both lands, so that's not good. We're going to... I think, actually, it makes sense to deploy the Slitherblade here. That way, this can safely be in my hand. I have no reason to expect them to have Thoughtseize in their deck, and I want to resolve Hedron Crab and immediately get a trigger. So now that they've seen I've got Ninjutsu cards in my deck, maybe they misinterpret this as a threat, even though I don't have anything to proc it. Or, it can proc, but there's nothing to be procced. I have my enabler. I don't have a payoff. Okay, Flood Strand. They could have Endurance in their deck. I think it's unlikely, but it's possible. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to wait until they actually put the spell on the stack. Oh, they could have the Thoughtseize here. They have black. I think this is probably just Brainstorm. I'm going to go ahead and Archive Trap first because I don't want to shuffle their Brainstorm for them. They may force this. They don't. Okay, let's take a look at what we've gotten so far. I'll let them resolve their Brainstorm because it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to interact there. They do have Bowmasters, which doesn't really matter that much. I mean, it does mean that maybe we want to cut the Donatello technique. So they flip. There's like zero threat of them, drawing half their deck. That would actually be like very good for me probably at this point. We don't have any way to pressure them, so they are going to be able to basically regrow every other turn. So I think what this is this is Hedron Crab, double trigger, and then we can toss this Hideous Laughter next turn. Because if they're going to fight, I wanted to fight over Hedron Crab and not Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which could hit a lot. But it will hit fewer cards here. Please don't force this. All right. Double trigger. Okay, and I'm not going to wait and risk them being able to interact. Let's get this one. All right, they've got 24 cards left. They can regrow a Plow if they want to. There's no point in attacking here because this will get debuffed. I guess I could like pretend that I had ninjutsu spell. So I think here they almost certainly just want a minus. There's no point to plussing. That's fine. It's still got 6 cards. At this point, like they have to be wondering, like, okay, where do I even go from here? Because like they could merc, and that would be a good thing to do. Okay, interesting. They chose a plus instead of minus. All right, so here I do want to advance my board just in case they have days. I think it's correct to go ahead and play out this island. Is that correct though? Maybe it makes sense to play out the delta. Let's go ahead and laugh at them. This has to be forced. They should have regrown a force. 9 cards. Okay, so they're at 14. Yeah, because we hit Riddler and Force and Land Binding. Yeah, I can tell you that Tasha's is not going to be good against this deck. This deck is not well represented in the meta, so I do think Tasha's is a little easier to cast than Fractured Reality, but in the previous league I played with Mill, we played Fractured Reality and it was pretty good. Yeah, so it was smart for me to not attack there. They don't have good attacks here, though. Because my Slitherblade is a 1/2 for 1, which this card is just so power crept and yet it's barely legacy playable. Please fetch. All right. I'm just going to do this now. Wait, I have to wait for them to finish fetching. Okay. But then I'll do it and then I'll just do it again. They're on notice that I have the Archive Trap. They basically have to have Endurance and they don't have double green here. So I think they're just dead. We're just waiting for them to pass priority and then we can Archive Trap. Like, even if they minus to get a Force of Will back, it'll be too late because I can Archive Trap, and then they're trying to get Plowback so they can get some damage through. All right, we got it. Okay, so I think Surgical Extraction, I don't know about it. I mean, it's like, the problem is, do we get like 8 or 9 cards with Tasha's Hideous Laughter? I think we should probably still keep it. I do think we should play some Force Negations. Like, most of their cards that we're going to care about are going to be cards we can Force Negate. Donatello Technique is very bad against Bowmasters. I think it's a marginal card too. I think we can probably cut it. We can keep the Kitsune, and I'm going to keep the Slitherblades just because they're I think Surgical might actually be worth playing just because it's just like more mill. This, I'm not certain about this card, whether it's good enough. I'm going to cut some of my Slitherblades. Yeah, I'll do that. Let's try that. So now we have to win one on the draw. This hand it doesn't do anything is the problem, but it's a reasonable hand. I feel like I'd be in error to throw it back. I mean, to some extent, we do want to establish ourselves quickly, but we also have some degree of inevitability. If they have Endurance in their sideboard, it's going to make life hard for us. Gosh, I would never throw this back in other circumstances, but I think I am going to throw it back. Because, like, what are we thinking that they resolve that's so problematic? Beanstalk is annoying, but it actually helps our cause a little bit. I think I'm going to mulligan this. Oh, yeah, we're going to mulligan again. Okay, this is the best hand we've seen. We'll keep... Field of Ruin is actually pretty good. We have Archive Trap. I think I'm going to put back Force Negation because I'm going so low. I can potentially field twice. Yeah, I think that's good. I don't know how many basics they're playing, but that should actually be pretty decent in terms of messing them up. Okay, they've got their island up. All right, so I can keep my... I'm going to bring out the Rune Crab immediately, even though I can't use him. And this is just inviting a plow, but they may force here. They brainstorm. They're looking for a force or trying to establish whether they need to force or whether they can just plow. I could have definitely held this for a turn cycle. There's no like pressure. I don't actually have anything to play next turn. Okay, we got a force for it. All right. I mean, that's a good card that they just forced. I agree with that sentiment. They're down to 51 deck points. Brainstorming further through their deck. We didn't see any dazes. I think they're just playing like a big beans list. They're fetching. I am going to Archive Trap them here. Just a carpet. Let's go ahead and trap. That's fine. And then I just Field a Rune and I restrict their mana while I hope to draw some good cards. Like Crab is the best draw. Okay, I'll just play this out. And they may have Wasteland in their deck. Wasteland would be good for Field of Ruin, and it kind of forced me to play out other cards. But hitting their Savannah, that might be good enough to do some damage. Okay, they've got Beanstalk up. I'm not sure whether they can win fast enough. They'll need to get a pretty quick... yeah, we'll see whether they even have a Plains in their deck. I'm not sure that they do. I think I've got plenty of shuffles, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'm actually not going to get a land here. I don't get a landfall trigger. And I just want to restrict their mana. Do they have planes? They do have a planes. Okay. And that's something where like I might have noticed if I'd been more attentive. I should have probably looked for it. So still learning how to play the deck. And now I will be feeding the carpet if I play a land out. I just want a crab really bad. Come on, give me a crab. I think this is a brainstorm. They could Bowmaster it, and that would give them a clock. They don't have access to black yet. I think I just need to be more tactical about my timing here. I do have Hardcast Force Negation if I need it. But like the notion of me playing into a Bowmaster, suddenly they've got a clock and I can die. Yeah, I think this is a good time. Let's do it. Not happy with these cards, that's for sure. I don't think I need this land. I probably don't need the second Force Negation. So we'll see what they get here. Okay, and we can hit that next turn. I don't want to fetch until their end step, but yeah, that could have been Bowmasters. So I think it was good timing to brainstorm around it. Another beans. I'm not going to interact with the beans at this point. I'm going to try to force the Murktides and stuff. Like they'll eventually be able to ram them through. Okay, so I'm going to fetch because I desperately need to find like Fractured or Tasha's, I think is what I need to find, and then I need to be able to defend it on the stack. I will play this out. Will I play it out? I believe it's correct to do so. If I go through the land, I reduce their total mana output, but they already have so much mana. I think I probably just need to like hang back and Hardcast Force Negate. I could upkeep, hit their land. I don't hate that. And then I have this. I'm not sure what my strategy is here, frankly. My opponent is like so far ahead. It's incredible. Okay, so I'll set this stop in the upkeep, I guess. It's just this way they don't know whether I'm going to blow up their land, but I am going to blow up their land. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and do this now. And they still have black off this carpet, which I can't interact with. Okay, and here comes the Bowmasters, I presume. I'm not going to give them any additional mana, so I'll just not find a land. I've got enough land. I don't think they're playing any soft permission here. Okay, they didn't fetch a land there, so that was like a straight-up wasteland. But they still have 5 mana, so they could do some nasty stuff here. Uro. Uro will take a while to kill me. I don't care about their life total. I just need to hit them with like a Tasha's or something like that. Come on, give me something good. Let's try it. I'll force to protect it. I don't think it's going to go through. I imagine they have force and they're going to draw more forces. All right, so I'll let these two resolve. There's no reason to force now. Well, yeah, I guess I will force now just in case. Just the Slither Blade, which doesn't do anything at this point. Okay, so you get your cards. You find another force effect. They surgical my trap. That's fine. Just look, I think maybe they're looking to see what's in my hand. Okay, that only hit 7 cards. I think we're going to die, unfortunately. Like, they'll be able to bring back Uro next turn. They've got, like, so much mana, and then they've got, like, lots of cards. I don't hold out any hope here. Like, even if we draw, like, another Tasha's, it's just doing so little each time we do it. It's like, pathetic against their deck. That was, like, what was that? 6 cards or something like that? All right, Uro's back. They do lose a deck point here. We're 3 swings from death. Okay, they have another land. Yeah, like, crabs won't do it. That doesn't do anything. I'll just pass. I don't necessarily need to show them that's what I drew. If I draw a crab, that might be good enough. Like, play a crab, he won't resolve. But if I can get even one crab trigger, it's good. If they fetch, that reduces deck points. All right, there we go. Boom! And now I think we're supposed to wait because they can plow and stop the other one. All right, check this out. Do you have a second removal spell? They do. Okay. That works. We got a 2-for-1 there. Not that like it really matters when they've got so many cards, but okay. That worked. They played correctly. Now they mill 3. Okay, I think they're going to be able to kill us before we can kill them, but we're putting up the best fight we can. I can't even imagine what they would cast here. Like, they shouldn't cast anything, but I don't get the vibe that they have endurance here unless they're just holding it for like an absolute emergency. I think it's a huge mistake for them to ponder here. Like, it's not a huge mistake, but like maybe they're like, okay, I just need a force, and then I've locked it, which is true. Good game. As with a lot of games, when you play this deck, it's just like Burn. You're going to get really close, and then you're going to lose. All right, so did we learn anything about their deck construction? I feel like Slither Blade is even worse, just because they're so, like, they just don't have blockers anyway. They may have taken Bowmaster out. We didn't see it. Did we? Yeah, They did have Bowmasters. They had 2 of them. So I do think Slither Blade is good just because it's a dumb blocker for that, and it is something that like backdoor enables Kitsune. I think maybe we do want more Kitsune because they're like, if they do get a Bowmaster, this facilitates that. Tasha's Hideous Laughter has been laughably bad. I'm sure Tasha's laughing at just how terrible this matchup is in terms of her ability to affect change. I do think Surgical is good here because if we can Surgical their removal, that's worth it. And it's 3 cards additional out of their deck. So it's just a question of what do we cut if we're going to go back up to 4 Kitsune. I think we just go down, like this rotted in my hand. We can't cast it to defend our own spells, and all our good spells are sorceries. All right, let's see what we get here. Hopefully we don't have to mold a 5. I think this is a great hand. So we will protect the Rune Crab, and we'll just keep milling them. If we mill a Plow, we will Surgical immediately. I won't wait. Well, I guess I can wait till the upkeep the first time around. Yeah, this is just an exceptional hand. Force blue card, plus Crab, and 3 fetches. We do this all day long. I have been telling, like, basically anybody who will listen, you shouldn't play Graveyard Hate right now. It's just not necessary, except for if you're up against Oops and you don't have Force, then you should play Leyline of the Void. And I can definitely see why my opponent's likely not playing Endurance. I just don't think it's correct to be doing so. So I just want to be clear that I think my opponent is just unlucky in pairing into this. I'm going to play this out. I could have waited a turn. Actually, I think the correct play is wait a turn, and then we have like Force would be a good play. Prismatic Ending would be strong. I'll force whatever they do. Crap. Okay, they're making their move. They don't want me to be able to force a negate. Okay, so this is going to be a Plow, I imagine. This is going to be a Force. Please don't force back, otherwise I don't have anything going on, actually. I'm like totally dead in the water if you have a Force. And they can force a negate, and they have it. Freaking heck. All right, well, that sucks. My hand just went to crap, basically, and I'm almost certainly going to lose here. Let's think about this. Let's see what we draw, and then let's do this. And I could wait to upkeep, but we got lucky. We got one out of their hand. That's freaking awesome. They've got a kind of do-nothing hand over there. I think we might be able to win this, actually. So let's take a look at their deck. I'm not going to screenshot it. But I am going to note that they have 1 Baragwolf, which is laughably bad against our deck because it mills, and Lifelink doesn't matter against our deck. They've got 4 Riddlers. Okay, riddle all you want. The real card I'm worried about here is Leyline Binding, of which they have 1. They can Beanstalk next turn. They do have green, but like that's not that big of a deal. In terms of removal for our crabs, they literally have Leyline Binding. They're not playing Prismatic Ending. Interesting. I think Prismatic Ending is definitely worth playing against this deck, and like, yeah, it's interesting. They're playing Surgical Extractions here against us. I don't agree with that. Thoughtseize is going to be too late. Like, we're never going to hold like a key spell generally. So anyway, I hope I don't come across as too harsh in my critique of my opponent, but like as a fellow control gamer, I feel it's my right to critique. Okay, so that's pretty good. Their hand is slow. And we're about to do some crabbing. Boom. Trigger. Yeah, I think if I'd wait and held, I would have at least gotten a trigger. So I do think it was an error for me to do what I did. And I'll go ahead and put this on the stack immediately. I'm just not going to wait around. If they have carpet, they have carpet. Okay, we milled a Force. We've gotten through 2 of their 4 forces and their Force of Negation. I forgot how many exact they had there. So this is going to be Beans, and they have 1 unknown in hand. They're going to have to find the Leyline Binding while we continue to crab them. They don't have Solitude, no Prismatic Ending. It's just that Leyline Binding. Okay, let's go ahead and do this while we can. Crab all the crabbing is good. They milled their carpet. I didn't look to see how many carpets they have, but that's good for us because that is an accelerant for them. All right, we hit a Bowmasters. I'm not going to bother attacking. I could have attacked just to kind of confuse. They are fetching here. They're probably going to Uro. If they do find the Leyline Binding, it's very good here. That's fine. That gets them a card deeper, and potentially a land drop to bring it back. Hedron Crab has the double use of just being like a great chumper that doesn't die to Bowmaster. Thank goodness they made him 0-2 in anticipation of Bowmaster coming out one day. All right, that's pretty good. Let's do it. Boom. And this crab, like these crabs can basically solo if you give them enough time. I love them. All right, 26 dex points. We can finish off with like one of many cards. We're almost a hardcast force too. So the best draw is just another fetch. They are actually like kind of low on land over there. They're not bringing back Uro for at least another turn, which is nice. And that means like the best draw would absolutely just be another fetch because I take 6 more deck points from them, and I have hardcast force up, which they're not going to be played days or anything. So it's basically just like a guaranteed stop their Uro for a turn cycle. I think this might be Leyland. Yeah, they found it. That sucks. And it's a turn before I have the ability to interact. So they may be able to turn the corner here. I mean, their deck is basically good against decks like ours. This is funny because it doesn't help them bring back Uro. They're going to need another land, but they may find another land. They do have Beanstalk out. We could just surgical the Uro. That'll force them to... I can wait to the upkeep and maybe get 2. Get 1 out of their hand. Is there any real risk to that? That does turn... No, they don't have hardcast force negation. I think it's risk-free to wait to their upkeep and then hit their Uro. So they just have the 1 Uro in graveyard. We could also go after Riddler. I mean, we know Uro's here, and Uro's going to kill us. They brainstorm in response. They're getting a free shuffle here. They have 2 forces left to find here, or 1 force. It's unlikely they find a force here. But if they are able to get a... if they get a Riddler, we are in trouble, and they do have Riddler in hand. Okay, this is the only Uro in their deck. So had I named Riddler, that might have been better, but maybe not. They can definitely finish us with this Murktide or one of many cards. It's worth noting Riddler is going to draw them a bunch of cards. All right. And they have a Flooded Strand, which they can fetch, which does cost them a deck point, but it does allow them... Yeah, I think that was a huge mistake. I think that was an absolute punt. Because now they're going to... Like they may still win, but it's going to... They're going to draw a lot of cards when they warp here. And I don't think they want to be drawing this many cards because they're reducing their total deck points. They've got 1 force left in there. This is going to warp out, and then they're going to have to do it again and get another 3 cards out of their deck. And then if they do cast a force, it's going to hurt them a lot. So I'll just force this out of... Oh, yes. No, actually, I need to hold that, sadly. So what I have to do is I do have to actually kill this Riddler somehow. I let it double trigger, and then I force it, and then they probably force back. Because Rune Crab, I can't turn him on or anything. I just have to hope that we can get lucky and race. Because if they find Merc, if they find anything, really, we're screwed. It sucks that we didn't find a land earlier. They do have Quantum Riddler from Exile here. But if they force to defend, then that's another 4 cards. I just don't think we're going to get there, unfortunately. I'm not sure that we did anything wrong here other than that we should have held the first crab. I think if we held the first crab, we would win. So I am going to force with these draw triggers on the stack because I do want to actually stop this. And now I'm 2 swings from death. They get their cards. We have nothing going on. Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Kitsune technique isn't even that good, and we don't have the mana for it. So we're drawing a lot of potential bricks here. That's not a brick. They don't even have the Bowmaster Punish mana. This is an easy shuffle here. We are low on things that matter. I think we have to hold this. I mean, actually, there's no way to remove it. There's no way to remove it. I think it's actually safer to play it out just in case they get a Thoughtseize. Because we've cleared all their removal. They force that. Okay, and they draw 2 cards. So that's not bad. They are almost certainly going to find a Murktide or something to kill us, though. But, sure, we'll take it. Surely they've found a Wincon now. Baragoyf. Okay, that is a Wincon. So just need 2 swings with Baragoyf and then we're dead. Come on. Unfortunately, this is not going to be enough unless they make the mistake of shuffling, which I just can't imagine them doing it at this point. Yeah, that's more damage. I mean, okay, so maybe we don't die. We drop to 1 and then we get to Archive Trap them, but they may have the force at that point. Yep, they're continuing to draw lots of cards. Cavalier with their deck points there, but we're not going to be able to punish because if I'd gotten 2 more triggers with crabs, I think this might be a close game. Yeah, they got it. Good game. Wait, is there anything? Yeah, I could draw a Tasha's Hideous Laughter. I'm not dead yet. That's the draw. So having exactly 4 lands, a real unfortunate thing. Make the mistake of using the Barago trigger. Get hubris. Get your hubris out. Okay, they decline the trigger. It basically has to be Tasha's, and they basically have to not have force. They don't even need a blue card here. Okay, they can do this with impunity. They can surveil. I think they're just looking for force to lock it up. Or if they find 2 Bowmasters, they can just ping me out right now. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Ponder. I think that's what they're trying to do, is just find 2 Bowmasters. They do have double black. All right, come on, Tasha. They can just force this, and then we have nothing. All right, I think the odds are extremely low that this works, but I'm going to try it. That's 1 ping. We're not dead. Do you have a force? They are dead. Holy cow. Holy cow. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that. Endurance from hand would still save them, but I'll be surprised if they have it. We did not deserve to win that. They were cavalier. They were very cavalier, and frankly, they got punished. They were casting cantrips like crazy. They played the second of the Beanstalk. Again, like fellow control player to control player, respect for playing control in this crazy meta, especially like multicolor, like 4-color control. But like, we did not deserve to win that one. That was their game to lose, and they lost it. All right, final round. We're 2-2 up against a likely blue-black gamer with a freaking awesome hand. This is basically exactly what I like to see. So I will just archive trap them at the first convenience. Like if they fetch, you have to wait until they actually get the land out, and then, so you are vulnerable to daze. Thoughtseize. I think I let this go. I don't want to get dazed. They're going to probably take my crab. I hope they take the archive trap, because I think some people may misevaluate archive trap is the real dangerous thing, because it's a lot of card points up front, but it's actually Rune Crab that is going to do the persistent grinding damage. And sure enough, they did, in my humble opinion, misevaluate. So now we have to ask, okay, is this Rune Crab worth forcing through if they have a daze? That was one of their likely 3 Thoughtseizes main deck. They've most recently been playing 4. If we just put this Rune Crab out, it's almost certainly dead. I'm going to play this out, and that way at least we can like force something we have to force, or we can brainstorm if they try to do a Bowmasters, but they wouldn't do Bowmasters during our turn. Field of Rune's not going to be particularly good against them. They do have 2 basics in their deck likely. The blue-black tempo mana base is basically perfect, and it's been perfect for years. Drawing a natural island would allow me to double Rune Crab here. They're fetching in upkeep. All right, that's fine. I think they may try to Bowmaster now, in which case I'll just respond with a Brainstorm just to get it out of my hand. Because I don't actually have that many cards that care about Bowmaster. Rune Crab can block Bowmaster all day too, which is really sweet. Yeah, I think they probably have a daze, and they're just going to daze my Brainstorm, is my read. Because why else would you proactively play out the Bowmaster at this point in the game? I'm fine with them burning a daze on Brainstorm though. Kitsune technique, love it. I think this is just Rune Crab. Oh yeah, I didn't want to play. I did want to play around daze. So basically, I play Rune Crab, I fetch, and then it's a 0 value. But I do have Kitsune technique. I do think it comes out. They could like daze it and force me to fetch, and then I don't get the value. I will force to defend Rune Crab. Will I? I think I will. I don't think Brainstorm's that exceptional here. I've got like lots of triggers lined up. They can wait till I fetch for Rune Crab and then Fatal Push and then have daze on my force. It's just this is a bad matchup. Let's put it that way. This deck is like this murders like fair decks and kind of like combo-y decks like ours. I'm reluctant to call our deck a combo deck. Do I want to go for the Rune Crab here? I think we just wait another turn cycle, because then we're like guaranteeing a trigger. I know that sounds cowardly, especially when we have Kitsune technique, but I might force pitch Kitsune technique if I actually have to stop something. I think they are going to Bowmaster here. This matchup is like anytime you're playing against blue-black tempo or playing with blue-black tempo, it's basically like skill delta. So we're going to go with the crab. And if this resolves, I'm going to immediately play this. Boom! Trigger. Always yield. Now this is going to feel mercs. It's going to feel lots of scary stuff. They snuff it. So I could just get 2 more triggers here and let it go. I could also force. I do think this is a force. I think I do pitch Kitsune Technique just because it's not as reliable. And like I can fire off these brainstorms and replace them with good cards. I think the odds are that like maybe they don't have another Fatal Push. I don't know. I'll pitch a brainstorm. I'll bite. Like the upside, like I want to showcase, like in a high stakes tournament, I would definitely pitch Kitsune Technique here. But like I want to showcase the power of this. Okay, so they're using that. All right, so let's go ahead and get another trigger. So we got the proverbial 2-for-1. And now I can potentially find another force. Okay, I'm going to brainstorm. They are tapped out. I'm going to try to put away Kitsune Technique if I can't. Like if I can't resolve, they could daze here, and then that would okay, so I'm just going to force the second time. I'll put back Field of Ruin. I'll put back Island, and I'll top Field of Ruin here. I definitely do want to draw Field of Ruin. Actually, I don't necessarily care to. Okay, so I'm going to force here. I'm going to pitch the Brainstorm, and we're going to try to live the Kitsune Dream. They force back. Okay, well, at that, unfortunately, Kitsune is not going to do a lot this game. I am going to get another trigger. Okay, we got them low on cards. There are 2 cards in hand. But like all they need to do is untap and jam on Murktide, and we're screwed. Okay, Bowmasters is not the end, but it does mean that I'm going to need to draw like a Swift Sphere if I want to be able to, or what is it called? Slither Blade. That's it. Slither. That's a hard English word to say. My goodness. Okay, so holding Brainstorm there, like we don't know that they wouldn't have had a daze. All right, well, that's pretty good. I think we're going to lose. We got some deck points off of them. We got some favorable exchanges. Not really favorable exchanges, technically. We 2-for-1 ourselves a bunch. Yeah. I am pretty ready to pack it up, but they do have a really low curve. Tasha's could do some real damage here. It's just unfortunate that these are total breaks. I'm going to hold that in case I find a crab. I don't care about them getting cards with Tamio. Tamio is like, that's one great thing about this deck. You just laugh in the face of Tamio. Like, sure, you want to draw extra cards. Sure, you want to draw half your deck. Like, granted, like that does draw them to Murktide and stuff like that. But in general, I'd say like it's helping advance our game plan. So I'll take it. Crab. Yes. All right. Trigger. And I think they're going to keep attacking with everything because, like, why wouldn't you? So it's quite possible that Kitsune Technique actually does something here. I think because I want this to trigger after I've Kitsune Technique, I'm going to get greedy and not fetch yet. They crack the clue. That's fine. Gosh, if we actually get a Kitsune Technique, that'll be so sweet. I'm not completely sold on it. I think they're going to attack all, but they may have another creature. They've got so many freaking cards in hand. Like, if they play a Merc here, it's devastation. I don't actually want... Well, it's a 0-3. I'll just block the Bowmaster. I don't think they're going to be able to do 2 damage to it. But you don't block the army because what they can do is they can Bowmaster ping and then grow the army as well and then kill your 0-3. Come on, just pass the turn. Don't play a freaking Merc. Want to get half your deck points? Okay, that's fine. So they flip Tamio, which is of little consequence to me. But they might find a Fatal Push. That would be of consequence to me because that would deny me my Kitsune Technique. And I'm at 9 life too, so I am in a pretty vulnerable state. Another land, don't have it. Don't freaking have it. Okay, here comes Merc, I think. Yeah, they're almost certainly going to take Kitsune Technique here. Yep, that was a very quick thoughtseize. It's fine. I don't care. I mean, like, I'm not going to cast this into Bowmasters and lose. Okay. Let's try another Kitsune Technique. I think it's worth it to find a Kitsune Technique to reduce my life points. And if I find another crab, that's okay too. There's the Donatello Technique. I mean, Hedron Crab isn't bad. I think we just Hedron Crab and then we fetch. Yeah, it's better than nothing. And that also increases the likelihood that, like, should I find a Kitsune Technique later, I can do something with it. This will be the only time I can cast a cantrip because now Hedron Crab will die. I think they just regrow a Fatal Push here too. But it's nice because I'm going to fetch to shuffle away those chaff cards that don't really matter here. Actually, did I stack it to where I have a Delta on top? I could actually just hold for the Delta, and then I have double fetch. Is that good enough? For like 9? No, that'd be a lot, actually. I think I do that. No point in attacking here. Let's play the crab, and let's just chill. This is a force if they have one. I can't see a world in which they don't regrow a Fatal Push, but I'll still get like the deck points here. as soon as they try to reroll the Fatal Push. All right. So they're going to be able to clear both of them if they want. That puts me in a very precarious situation because I'm going to take 3 and I'm at 7. And they are going after the correct one to go after, the one that has more toughness. So now I can block this Heater and Crab. I can't. They may have a second Bowmasters. I actually think I'm buying a turn. Like they're going to potentially just reroll anyway. So I think it is just a block here. If they have a second Bowmasters, I'm dead. I'll just scoop. Okay. So post forward. Propaganda is actually not that bad against them because they're, well, it's not great. Yeah, I don't think I actually make any changes. I don't really want a surgical because it reduces my life. I think I just play it as it is. Again, I'm not sold on Kitsune technique. I don't think, have we cast it at all this league? Maybe once. I think it may be like a 2 of, and then one thing I was thinking is instead of playing Slitherblade, you could play Tamio. And I know everybody's like, ugh, Tamio, really? Do we have to play her in every blue deck? But like, my opponent's playing her and it's a huge asset to them. And like, if you want to win more games, put Tamio in your deck. She's a broken card. Slitherblade is like the only, I haven't seen a single deck that plays Slitherblade in Legacy in 2026. I like this. I like this a lot. So we start with Slitherblade. Yeah. And they kind of have to respect it. We could Kitsune technique. I'm going to keep this. Kitsune technique is a card you want to cast early in the game. And then what I like about this hand is it has, like, they could Wastefield Ruin, which would be annoying, but we are a 20 land deck, and the only wasteable land is the one in our hand. Technically 4 copies of it. So even if they play out a Tamio here, we can answer it. They may just freak out and force this. They're playing like they have a force. Like everything they're definitely not F6'd. Okay, and that's great for us because we're almost certainly going to be able to Kitsune technique, and if they daze it, that's okay. They've been a land for us, or been a Ponder rather. So I guess it's neutral because they would have drawn a card off Ponder anyway if they cast it. Come on, Island. Let's do this. Just let it resolve once. Don't snuff me, please. If they have the snuff, I'll just Ponder. All right. This is not like uncounterable like ninjutsu. It's just an alternate casting cost, so they could still daze here. This is definitely a force if you have one. It's like the equivalent of like a bolt you for 10. Okay, and they have the force. So that was, a 2 for 1. Again, it doesn't really matter. Like we're not really functioning on that traditional thing because they just need one threat to carry them through the game. And we need to do a lot of stuff to stop, to win. Okay, Thoughtseize, turn later. They'll probably take our Heater and Crab. If they have like Daze, Tasha's Hideous Laughter is very good against their deck. They don't have a high curve at all. The only high curve cards in there are the Snuff Outs, which they may have 1 or 2. I usually play 2 now. I think it's really strong. And then like they've got Murktide. No, they've got Force. Actually, their curve is not that low. Murktide like significantly changes the dynamic. All right, so we're not going to get wasted here. Another Thoughtseize, okay. So they probably take a Ponder here is what I would take. Just to reduce our ability to sift through our deck and find another land. Okay, they took the Laughter, which tells me they may have a Daze. But let's see what we find here. Bingo. So I do think that, like, even though this is, let's just use it. I'm going to try Tasha's Hideous Laughter here. I could wait a turn. Maybe it's better to wait a turn and just Slitherblade and Ponder here. I think I'm going to do that. And in that case, I probably shouldn't have fetched already. See if we can line up another Kitsune. Donatello technique's good. I like the Force here just in case they jam some must-stop threat. So Donatello technique, Rune Crab doesn't do anything immediately, but like it will get some value later. These cards are great. We're definitely keeping this. I think I take the Force, then I take the Donatello technique next turn. I don't want to pitch this Tasha's Hideous Laughter, but I will. If they jam like a Murktide that is going to kill us before we can kill them, I will fight. I'm not going to go after cards like Bowmasters here. Even if they Fatal Push, I think they have a Bowmaster. So I might have to fight a Bowmaster on the stack, unfortunately. Gosh, that's going to suck, having to fight a Bowmaster. But I'll get 2 new cards. Oh, I could just pitch the this with it, because it's in my hand. And I'll force. Now I'm going to draw a Crab, and I can play the Crab out. You have Force back? Yeah, they do have Force back. Okay, so they're going to get some triggers here, unfortunately. We got them to have 1 card in hand, but they are going to have Yeah, there's a lot of damage that we're taking here. I could play the crab and just block the Bowmaster. Oh, and I ripped a land too, so that's double trigger. Actually, it's triple trigger because I can... No, I can't do it immediately, but I'll play it now. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just trigger while I can. I'm at 13, so not a lot of hits from this Orc army. Okay, we did get their Snuff Out and a Fatal Push. That's not bad. So they should absolutely waste this if they can because it represents another trigger. I'm just going to hold the Tasha's for a while because I want to focus on getting Rune Crab value before they find a removal spell for it. If they remove it, yeah, then I guess I'll just Tasha. There's not real merit to hitting one of their lands. They'll just get another basic. Okay, they don't have Kaito, but we do take 4. Yeah, we're looking for... Gosh, what are we looking for? Another crab would be fine. Actually, crab and then... Okay, all right, we can do this. I'll just do this now before they get a chance to Thoughtseize me. Actually, I should do it in their upkeep because I might give them an opportunity to cast another Bowmaster if I do it now. Is that right? Do you just want to toss this Hideous Laughter and maybe they give us? Yeah, I think it's fine to just do this because they may just naturally shuffle and then I get the Archive Trap anyway. Okay, 7 cards. Terrible. Terrible. Yeah, we've gotten some bad luck with Tasha's matchups, like Beans and now this. So, yeah, they did hit a Murktide and a Force. They hit 2 Murktides. Actually, 2 Murktide, like, that might save us. I don't know. We've got 2 turns. We'll see what they do here. I'm not feeling good about it. That Tasha's needed to hit, like, 15 cards or something. If they just, like, waste us and then don't fetch, then this just rots in our hand. Hopefully we don't draw a cantrip. A crab would be great. All right. That can at least block this guy. I think I upkeep again. That way they don't get to do anything with their mana here. All right. I'll just hit this one, I guess. And then we get a land. So we trigger. And then next turn they can just play out the Petty Theft guy. And I'm pretty screwed. I will go ahead and Archive Trap them now since they searched. Okay. They're at 16 deck points. But like we need a miracle here. We don't have a blocker. Next turn, I could chump. No, I'll be so low that I won't even be able to chump. I won't even be able to fetch. Yeah, I'm just like dead in the water here. This is over. Ponder. So, like, the only thing that I could hit that would be relevant would be Tasha's, and it would need to... like, actually, if you look at their exile and stuff, like, it's possible Tasha's could get the 14 cards. It's unlikely, but it's possible. They probably are just holding, like, a Force. Come on, Tasha. I mean, this keeps us alive for a turn. Good game. Okay, well, that was unfortunate end of the league. I mean, like, I'm not liking this build, completely honest. I don't think you should go be like, yeah, Ninja Mill. I think traditional mill's better. I just wanted to experiment. Like, a lot of my deck building involves, like, extreme design where you play 4 of everything just to see the maximum number of it and have extreme consistency. Slitherblade, it feels super awkward in the deck. Donatello's technique is like here basically just to bridge us into Slitherblade, but it's not good enough, frankly. It's a liability in a heavy Bowmaster format. Bouncing Slitherblade back to your hand, you're basically paying 2 mana for draw 2, which is not exciting when, you know, Affinity doesn't even play Thoughtcast anymore. So, yeah, that tells you about how powerful a draw 2 effect in Legacy is right now that Affinity's not even playing Thoughtcast anymore. Oh, wow. Yeah, it just blows my mind, the evolution of that deck. So here is what I think I'm going to play in the next league. I still believe in Kitsune's technique. Like, I'm not sure if I should believe in it. It seems extremely inconsistent. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't actually know if I'm going to play another league with this card. It just never did anything. I think we put it on the stack once, but it's definitely not worth supporting. Like, Archive Trap hits a quarter of their deck. Tasha's hits a quarter. The other card hits a quarter. Yes, this hits half, but like you can never finish your opponent off with this because like they're 10 cards and it only mills 5. I feel like Fractured, whatever it's called, Fracture's way better. So I think I'm probably just going to go back to a deck like this. This is what I played previously, and I've been pretty happy with it. Like, granted, it's obviously like awkward. Sometimes you'll be playing against like Dredge or Reanimator or something like that where you're actually actively playing into their game plan. But I think this would be better. I wasn't like bowled over with the Dazes, but they do, you know, kind of synergize with your crabs. One card that you could consider playing if you just want more crabs is Mockingbird, but that's super awkward if you draw it by yourself, by itself. It can like copy a Bowmasters though. Is Mockingbird worth playing? So first of all, I don't like main deck Surgicals. I think the Surgicals should be in the side, but I do like them better in this deck than Leyline. I don't think Back to Basics is where we want to be at all. And if we're not on Back to Basics, then is Disruptor Flute really good enough? So if we do something like this is 15 cards. I do like Bridge over Propaganda, even though it doesn't pitch to Force. I think something like this could definitely work. And then, yeah, I think I could try some Mockingbirds in here. I mean, the fact that Mockingbird can just take out, it can be the best creature on the board. We're always going to have mana for it. I don't really want to put Tomio in the deck. It increases the price of the deck a lot, and there's no real synergy there. There's also this Jace, the Perfected Mind, but it seems super gimmicky, frankly. I can't imagine it actually being good. There is, like, Mockingbird is not a lock because you Mockingbird, and then, like, they're like, okay, well, I'll just plow your Rune Crab with Mockingbird on the stack, and then you look like you accomplish nothing, basically. So I'm not sure that it's correct to play, is what I'm saying. To give you some perspective on how rare it is that people play Blue Mill, and a lot of these are Blue-Black Mill, by the way. They're not no reserve list Mill. You can see here that, like, the number of decks that have ever included Tasha's Hideous Laughter in Legacy is like 8, maybe, or so. And it's probably the best mill spell, in my humble opinion. People may disagree with that, but Mono Mill. One card that could... Maddening Cacophony? I don't think I've heard of this. Each opponent mills 8 cards if this spell was kicked. That doesn't seem good enough. Okay, so as I'm trying to establish here, there is no list. You can like compare the list, and you can see that like many of them are playing 19 lands, some of them are playing 23. I mean, that's a lot. This is probably the most successful player. This Ricardo Bragado, who like top 8'd back in 2022 with a list like this, and we can see that they were playing Brazen Borrower, which I just don't. I guess it can block. Brain Freeze doesn't seem good at all. I don't understand why. Again, like I guess I don't understand the reasoning behind playing cards like Mission Briefing here. Surveil 2, then choosing it, like you can replay a card, but like you have to pay mana for it. It's not like you get it for free. Yeah, so I would welcome lists. If you all have them, just send them to me on Discord. But I'm not convinced that any of these are particularly good. So what I'm saying is there's tons of space to explore here. There is tons of space. Oh, this is the Jace that I was talking about. So Jace, the Perfected Mind. It does 2 damage to you when it comes in, unless you want to pay 4. But it basically, until your next turn, up to 1 target creature gets -3/0. It doesn't seem very good. That's the plus ability. The minus ability is target player mills 3 cards. Then if a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, you draw 3 cards. Otherwise, you draw a card. This, like, yeah, you can make the mill, and then you get to draw a card, or potentially 3 cards, which you're likely going to draw 3 cards. But, like, this is kind of like paying 3 mana and 2 life to draw 3 cards. I don't think that's like Legacy playable right now, even in this structure where like you assume that they're going to have a bunch of cards in their graveyard and they have an endurance. So I don't think that that's the card we want to include here. One card that I think is actually pretty good is this Sorcerer's Squall. So it costs a fortune, but it's Delve. And basically you mill your opponent for 9 cards, and then you can cast an instant or sorcery spell from that player's graveyard without paying its mana cost. So this can kind of double as removal, assuming your opponent's still playing removal post-board. And it does mill for 9. But you may not have 6 cards in your graveyard, and it may rot in your hand. And also, it's another triple blue in a deck that does play Field of Ruin. So, yeah, I'm not convinced this is where we want to be either, frankly. Another option is just to play Wastelands. Like, it may sound weird, but we're playing Days. And Wasteland is a land that comes in and, you know, triggers this and alongside Field of Ruin. So we do have kind of like a tempo bend to the deck, and like we're just trying to delay the game, right? So Wasteland, how good would it be here? I'm not sure. I think if we play Wasteland, we can't play Fractured Sanity just because the number of colorless lands goes up a lot. Yeah, and I think Fractured Sanity is probably necessary. I could iterate on the design more. I'm not sure where to go with it. Like, I think it's fine to just punt and put the surgical extractions in, even though they feel pretty mediocre. Because like they are just generally useful. Like sometimes you'll queue into oops all spells and you'll just happen to have the surgical. So for anybody who's been watching the Be Excellent channel, you'll note this is the exact 75 that I played previously. Except like I actually need to figure out what I'm going to do with the sideboard. I think one just easy thing I can do with the sideboard is just put in a bunch of Pyroblasts and Hydroblasts rather. The reason I think Hydroblast is good here is because there is a lot of red and it's, removal and blue. You could also play Dismember, but I'm not convinced that we need to, because we're not trying to like win through creatures. I played Dismember in my mono blue lists that actually, need to win through creatures. So you're removing a blocker as well as a potential threat. I think it does need to be 4 Hydroblast because there is a situation where you'll draw like one and you won't have a legal target for Hydroblast. So you don't want to split them. One of the problems I experienced in the previous league where I was playing Ensnaring Bridge was not being able to get my hand empty. Like I drew like a Force of Will or something like that and they were able to attack me for a ton. And I did eventually figure out a way to get my hand empty and win the game, but it was touch and go for sure. This is not just like GG. Also, I played against Punishing Waterfalls and he was playing this really sweet mono white list that's no reserve list that I'll be playing soon, but he was able to win through Ensnaring Bridge with this Leonardo, the Cutting Edge plus Conjurer's Cauldron or something like that, Witch's Cauldron. And then he also had Walking Ballista, and that was a very sweet interaction. He basically was able to infinitely ping me. So sometimes but a lot of decks just can't win through this. But if you think about it, Ocelot Pride can win through it because they can just dome you with their Ajani. But the good news is Hydroblast answers Ocelot Pride. So I think if we go up against an aggro deck that has red, we just cut the Surgicals and we bring in the Hydroblasts. If we go up against like a big combo deck, this isn't in the deck. We just bring in, if we expect them to have Pyroblasts and stuff, maybe we take out a Fractured Sanity. It's kind of a high investment card. If we go up against a deck that just doesn't have natural shuffling, like Urza Saga type decks, like they do technically have it, but it's like we might be able to trim some of these and bring in consigns. I'm just trying to think of like the commonly, like I build my sideboards with the top tables in mind. Like what am I likely to actually encounter that's good? Like I would never put like anti-mill cards on my sideboard, for example, because I almost never encounter mill, just as an example at the top of my head. So I think this is probably a better version of mill. And again, it's very similar to what I was playing previously. I do think it can be good. And I'm going to keep trying to prove that it can be good. So I hope you enjoyed this league. I hope you enjoy the experimentation, even if we ultimately determined that the experimentation is probably not bearing fruit. And until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.